Welcome to the Vision Business Community. Today I have a personal friend of mine, but also a consummate professional in the area of finance brokering, Gino Farina from the Bondi Broker. What a lovely name, Gino.
Thank you, George.
It's something that people can't forget once they hear it for the first time. You are the Bondi Broker. Why Bondi, Gino?
Why Bondi? I've been fortunate enough to live here for 20 years, over 20 years, and decided to get into my own business probably 3 or 4 years back. And through a friend suggestion, he said, "You're local, why don't you call yourself Bondi Broker?" So it was as easy as that. The business name wasn't taken and grab it. So very surprising, yes, very fortunate.
Yeah. So you've been in finance for how long?
A bit over 3 years. Yeah.
Yes, but you've come into it with a business background or experience in business.
Yeah, correct. I've been, I think this is my 8th or 9th different industry I've worked in.
Mm-hmm.
So very fortunate to have a really broad range of corporate and business experience.
Yep.
In many different industries, and that's really helped both starting my own business, as well as interacting with people in different businesses and being able to help them.
Because you can understand, you can place yourself easily in their shoes and understand where they're coming from, particularly if they're a business owner.
Oh, without a doubt. Yeah, I think that's having that background coming into finance.
Mm-hmm.
I find it easier to be able to sit down with the business owner, I guess, look at their profit and loss, a quick overview of the business, and be able to understand potentially some of the challenges they're going to have, both with the business and also getting finance. Yeah,
look, I know that you are without making it sound dodgy, you're one of the most imaginative, and you're always looking for a legitimate angle to work on achieving the needs of your clients. Is that correct?
Yeah, without a doubt. It's I was fortunate to work for 3M many years, and they're a highly ethical company.
Yep.
So you're always doing right by the customers.
Mm-hmm.
Country lad. So I grew up in the country where good ethics as well.
Yeah.
So it's really important for me to do whatever I can to help clients, but also be upfront with them, saying, "Look, I can't help you.
Yeah.
If I can't recommend them to someone who may be better at that particular need."
Yeah, I know, because everyone comes to you with a different need, and some can be quite curly.
Yeah, actually, one of the first business opportunities I came into was quite complex, and we worked on it for months. And actually, the solution was to roll over the finance that he currently had, because it was the best thing for him. But that was product development, selling into the US and Europe. So quite a complex business model, but fortunately I'd had experience with product development and logistics and shipping around the world. So it was easy to understand. Actually more challenging to explain the business to some of the bankers who are much better with bricks and mortar.
Yeah. Well, that's one of the problems that entrepreneurs have with being one myself, that I've always had with people from the banks, the big four. They tend to be, for want of a better description, almost like public servants and consummate administrators. Not the type of person I would like to speak to as an entrepreneur. You definitely understand the language of the entrepreneurs, and you can also liaise well with the institutions. Yep.
Oh, yeah. Again, fortunate to have the background.
Yeah.
But as well, it was actually an opportunity I saw when I did my research initially on the finance market.
Mm-hmm.
In the residential mortgages side, brokers wrote about 55% of the market.
Yeah.
And you'd expect to see probably that top out at 70.
Yep.
Whereas in the business broking space, it's only about 15 to 20% of business gets written through brokers.
Right.
So obviously it's a great business growth opportunity. But after getting in and writing a few loans, I really saw the opportunity more just than writing the finance. It was more around helping business owners understand more about finance and how their business needs to be positioned in order to attract finance and even cheaper finance over time. Look, with the goal to fund, acquisitions out of cash flow rather than relying on the banks. So
that's a big one.
Seemed to be the beginning of a potential journey of not only providing finance but education programs to help business owners understand more.
Yeah, it's one of those things that a lot of people don't even understand, that one percentage point difference or even a split percentage point difference on a loan can have a huge impact on the cash flow of a business. So what are the things that you've seen impact?
I think the best example is coming out of corporate land and actually doing it for yourself. Starting off, going, I'm going to start a business from scratch. Yep. How much is it going to cost me?
Yeah.
And, fortunately I had some money put aside, but that wasn't enough. So, even in finance, you have to go and work out where to find money to keep the business going. And it's really taught me so much firsthand that I can share with people, and even to the basics of when you're a business owner and stressing about money, more of your focus is actually on where am I going to get the money rather than how am I going to grow the business and get out of this. And just that lack of focus or just not quite understanding where the money is going to come from, and rather than this is my plan and execute, can really cause a great amount of stress. And again, being through it firsthand and having the challenges and growing a business and the like, it really helps me, I get closer to the business owners, and I can actually share the personal experience of, I was doing it tough and I've sort of come out the other side. So that, in a finance perspective, I think is really valuable.
Yeah, that's absolutely right, Gino. I mean, the number of times I have seen, particularly those people in small business, gather enough money just to buy an existing business, but not realizing that they should have assumed that for at least 18 months they weren't going to earn $1. And that meant that they should have borrowed maybe 3 or 4 times the amount of money just to underwrite the operation, and they didn't. And they were almost immediately in trouble. I'm sure you've seen that.
Well, hey, look, coming into broker land, they actually say, don't expect to write a loan for 6 months. And it's true. But what they don't tell you, and I gave some feedback actually when I came into the market via a franchise, sort of said, the one bit missing out of their pitch is you've got to tell them, if you come in earning 80 grand a year, you might earn that in sort of 12 to 18 months.
Yeah.
If you come in earning 200 grand a year, it might take you 2 to 3 years to earn that. So your whole budgeting and approach and cash flow modeling has to adapt to that. And, that was my feedback having gone through it firsthand. And again, that's where I think a lot of the assumptions that business owners make, as you say, especially new to business, don't know. And when you don't know what you don't know, it can be pretty tough.
Well, you just spoke a few words that belong in the world of the mystical arts, for a lot of people, even in business, and that is budgeting, cash flow projections, P&Ls, break-even points. There are a lot of people in small business, believe it or not, who don't understand those the meaning of those words. How have you found business owners' understanding of those things?
Quite varied. Yeah, quite varied. From the very in depth to the that's not my area of specialty. And look, at the end of the day, small businesses, small business people start because they're good at something. They're good at sales, they're good at marketing, they've got some technical skills. That doesn't teach you to be a business person. It just means something. And being able to surround yourself with people that you trust, that can provide you guidance, and support and training is really the key. Again, fortunately, I had a corporate background and training, so I understood a lot of what was required. But it's still tough to do. So for small business people, especially, finance it's such a personal issue, and even with businesses, people don't want to open up. So you really do have to have some face time with people and sort of say, look, I'm here to help, and let's work through it, and let's see if we can help you and build a plan. And because most small people have been burnt before, someone's probably taken advantage of them.
Mm-hmm.
They're a little bit gun shy, and because they don't ask, they may, especially in finance land, they may go and get finance from a short-term lender because they need money, but they borrow at a higher rate. It costs them more money, and they get themselves into a bit of a debt hole they can't get out of. So, yeah, it's the small business people and the support network they have to have is critical. And just having a range of experts across a heap of fields, which you can't be an expert at everything. So find people you can trust and deal with.
Yeah. Wise words for people in business, no matter what size. So how have you? So in the lead up to COVID-19, how was business going for you? Well, and for your clients up until that COVID-19 hit?
Quite varied. Me personally, I started my finance world in a franchise, and that was going back to the point of I didn't know what I didn't know, so I thought I'll jump in with a system.
Yep.
For 6 months, I learned what I didn't know, and I thought, okay, I have to do it differently. The franchise for me personally was too restrictive.
Yep.
And I got to saw what people needed in finance world, so I thought I'll go out by myself. And that particular franchise wasn't big in the business finance side as well.
Right.
So I went under Bondi Broker and started again, but just stopping a business and starting again, you lose a lot of momentum. So I think the economy took a bit of a hit going through the election. Everyone sort of was really wary of what was going to happen last year.
Yeah.
And from then, personally, the business has been very strong. And I think across the board, from the people I talk to, most people, if they have a plan, they're executing the plan, they're modifying the plan, they do well. Those businesses that maybe everything's going really well and then suddenly things stop, maybe not performing as well. So from experience that I've had and what I see, those business owners that have a bit more of a plan and know where they're going will always perform better and see better over time.
Well, look, a number of businesses have actually stopped at the moment. You've experienced that by changing from, the franchise model to your own independent business. I guess that's a metaphor for what's happened to a lot of businesses when COVID-19 hit. Are you able to share your view on the kind of pain that you've seen out there, or any good stories that you may have seen amongst your clients?
Fortunately, I guess none of my business clients have been, that directly impacted. Some have been impacted, but no businesses have shut down.
Yep.
Mortgage clients, obviously, that have lost their jobs, which is quite distressing. And, people have just committed to buying a home and losing their jobs. So working through that process. It's been interesting to see how business owners react positively and look for ways to get around it. What I read, local either cafes or restaurants that are selling groceries and looking just ways to keep revenue going and leveraging community support. Well, but it's challenging. If you have a pub, I noticed the local pub Ravisi's, they've got the bottle shop going and turning dollars. So again, there's always ways to look at trying to make good out of a difficult situation. But it is, I guess, given the lockdown, some people, it may have been too much.
Yeah.
And that's times where I'd sort of recommend getting like business people together and throwing around ideas. Yeah,
it's pretty important to have I guess, for want of a better description, an ideas group where you can get together with a group of people and just chuck up crazy ideas, anything at all on a whiteboard, and then just go through them, one by one. And you never know, like something might pop up and really have legs, and fly. I think with a lot of small business owners, and the purpose of this podcast is to bring business owners who are normally isolated together and at least share the viewpoints of people such as yourself. What kind of advice can you give people in business right now?
Right now, well, cash is king. So if you don't know where your cash flow is today, get onto it, and then work out based off your current situation, probably a worst case scenario, and then maybe plan A, B, C. Because if you run out of cash, then it's a problem. Obviously, then going to government support, what government support's available for my business today, and how does that help me get through?
Well, let's talk about the government support. I mean, are you working with your clients to access all the government support that's available for them, or you're really allowing them to do that?
It depends on the business. I do get a lot of questions about what can I get.
Mm-hmm.
I've had to give one client, in order to get this loan, you've got to get JobKeeper. This was actually just when the whole lockdown started. So make sure your employers, put in an application for it so we can keep your finance application moving.
Yep.
Others are like, can I get it as a sole trader? Which means you just go to the government website, which has got so much information on there, and say, okay, these are the parameters around performance and quarterly BAS statements from last year and this year that they need to see. So they're going to, you can actually access some dollars that way. So it's being aware, I guess, understanding the person's situation, and then looking at, going up. So I just go straight to the government website and say, okay, let's read through what the options are and investigate those further.
Yeah, I mean the landscape's changing daily in the world of business support for business by government. The rhetoric seems to change every day. So they should be going back to the government websites and just checking in. What kind of in your opinion though, what do you think we'll see once we come out of COVID-19? Do you see a major change in the landscape, in the business landscape?
Yeah, I'm concerned genuinely for people, with businesses shut down for so long, consumers wary. I don't see us bouncing back.
Mm-hmm.
I see it being quite protracted and slow build.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not confident, because business has taken on a lot of debt without any income, especially those that have had to close down. So with higher debt loads, they're probably a little bit more gun shy in hiring back maybe everyone.
Yeah.
And business isn't going to be back at capacity. So unemployment's going to be higher. I suspect taxes will be higher to pay for the $130 billion or the like package that got put together. So I think it's going to be challenging. But there's still going to be opportunity, and I'm always, I guess, optimistic in there is opportunity out there. As a business owner, you just have to work on providing more value to your clients than anyone else can, and there's almost unlimited opportunity. But the times are going to be different, and hopefully, as humanity, we learn a lot out of it. We do things better. But the next couple of years are going to be pretty tough.
Yeah, because the debt load that you spoke about with respect to business owners doesn't stop there. I mean, you would know that there's a huge debt load on individuals as well at the moment, and it's almost like a perfect firestorm, isn't it?
Yeah, even on the simple mortgage front, I think the news this morning, how many $1 billion of home loan, might have been $160 billion of home loan deferrals. So a lot of people go, great, I can get a home loan holiday, but in 6 months' time, those repayments are going to go up, and probably more for business, because if you haven't got income, but you've still got rent to pay and the like and other fixed costs, that's in there waiting for you, which means you just, you've got to put a larger part of your profits aside to start paying that down over time, and that will restrict your ability to grow.
And unfortunately for a lot of businesses, particularly in the food and beverage game, those margins just don't exist to put more money aside. They were skating on thin ice to begin with.
They are, but like through every everything that happens, it's a great opportunity to relook at your business.
Yeah.
I was fortunate back at the GFC, the business I was running at the time in a corporate, we'd actually restructured the business and rebuilt it with great efficiencies, good digital marketing strategies, and great distribution management. And we were lucky to grow through the GFC. Fortuitously, we'd done all the work prior.
Mm-hmm.
I was actually talking to a broker colleague actually yesterday, and he was using the opportunity to revisit his business plans and look at efficiencies in the office and the way that he was doing things. And he actually spent a week doing that, and on Monday morning his phone started ringing. So he hasn't quite got back to implementing the business plan. Just thinking about it seems to have made the business come in the door. So that's what I'm looking at the moment, is go back to your plan if you have one. If not, great time to have one. Look at anything that's inefficient and try and create some efficiencies in your business.
Yeah.
And get in contact with your customers. I do a little bit of business consulting, not paid. It's more just giving people advice. And it's really about just tell people what you're up to, keep your brand top of mind. You don't have to email them every day. For me, I send out a newsletter once a month. But just don't do the sell, just provide information that can be helpful.
Yeah.
And always be there. And, as I said, I'm sending a newsletter once a month, and it's solely as a branding exercise and information. And it's just a way of just saying I'm around, and you're doing it consistently and just helping people. So look for ways, I guess, business owners that work best for you and your client base.
Yeah.
Just going back to the basics, I think is important in this time.
Well, Gino, it certainly helps to have, someone in your field of expertise to have had such a wide experience and a depth of experience in business. So for those people who, are thinking right now, because I'm sure I'm thinking it. So they're probably thinking, well, how can I get a hold of Gino and get him to review my business and probably help me out with some other aspects like a plan? How would they get in touch with you, Gino?
Pretty easily, either via phone, via email, or the website, or via LinkedIn. Happy to connect via LinkedIn.
Yep.
Either way is good. So
it's www. The Bondi Broker.
bondibroker.com.au. Even if you Google me, I'm right there. Just by luck, it was a good business name. So easiest way to find me.
That's fantastic. Fantastic, Gino. And before we go, any words of advice to our people in business?
Keep positive. The times are tough, but there's also great opportunities out there. Network, reach out to people you trust, and those experts that can really help you look back at your business and guide you out of some of the challenges we're having, because there are, as I said, for those who are brave, optimistic, there are even greater opportunities ahead. So.
Yeah, thank you very much, Gino. I hope that some of our listeners and viewers would avail themselves of your services, because I know you are terrific at what you do, and you certainly are. You base your business on building solid relationships with business owners and helping them through tough times. And I think a lot of people will need you right now. So thanks very much, Gino. I wish you well.
George, I appreciate the time.
Thank you.
Thank you.